I'd also like to take the opportunity of recognising our partners. Chris, somewhere in the audience, yeah, my husband's over there. And we're recognised as married in so many countries around the world, but every time we come home we're not. And that sucks. It's time that we are. But I want to recognise Chris as my husband. I want to do that amongst family and friends, and I want to do that in the community as well, bringing us out into the light, as Lee and Sandra said. I also want to recognise the efforts that our parents and families have done to contribute to this campaign, because we couldn't do it without you. Whether that be to go around to my house and feed the dogs because I'm not home yet, whether it be to jump on the internet and go to freelove.org.au and complete a form and let our coalition members know that we really, really want a free vote. I received an email. We've been receiving a lot of emails lately, and one of the emails that I received a couple of days ago was from a gentleman, and he wanted to let me know that we needed to update our website. And you have no idea how often we have to update our website lately. Supporters for marriage equality are coming out of the woodwork, and that's fantastic. We have leaders across this political spectrum that are coming out for marriage equality, which is great. But this gentleman, I gave him a call and I said, thank you very much for giving us a buzz. Yep, we know about that one. We're going to be updating the website shortly. But, you know, what's your interest? What's your take on this? You know, why are you involved? And he said, look, it's just the right thing to do. And I could tell that he was probably in his 70s. And then in the conversation, I heard his wife in the background. And she said, you tell him it's just the right thing to do. We need to get this fixed. And I said, is that your wife in the background? He said, yeah, it is. I said, well, it's just fantastic. Thank you so much for your support. Because the research that we've done indicates that support for marriage equality isn't just on Oxford Street. It's all around the country, and it's in every demographic. Young or old. Catholic, Anglican, Uniting, other, Open Door, thank you. Support for marriage equality exists across the country and in every demographic. And so we're having this type of support starting to be recognised across the political spectrum, and that's great. But, long segue, our next speaker is Tanya Plibersek.
Thank you so much. I want to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land that we're meeting on today, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. And I want to say how humbling it is to get that response when I know that there are people in this audience who would have marched in 1978, who would have been arrested, who would have marched in 1979 in Mardi Gras and every year since, who have fought every day for decades for equality, for equal treatment before the law. Thank you all. Thank you all for those decades of political activism. Every step we take, every step forward is based on the work that people have done before us. But today I think it's time we can say that I want Australia to have the same response to legalising same-sex marriage as we saw in Ireland last weekend. This is the last piece of unfinished business to full equality for gay men and lesbians in this country. And it has to happen now. Like one of our greatest Labor Prime Ministers said, men and women of Australia, it's time. In 2012, a similar bill went before our federal parliament, and about a third of MPs voted for it, and about 2/3 in the House of Representatives voted against it. We will do much better this time, but we can only do better if this is multi-party and bipartisan. This has to be across the political spectrum, because I can tell you that across the Australian community, our citizens are demanding of our political leaders that this happens now. In March 2014, I proposed a bill, and I wrote to every Liberal and National Member of Parliament, and I asked them to co-sponsor a bill to legalise same-sex marriage. And I know that there are so many Liberal and National MPs who wanted to co-sponsor that bill. I know they wanted to. But because there is no free vote allowed in the Coalition Party room at the moment, they weren't able to co-sponsor. And sadly, that meant a catch-22, because no one could co-sponsor until there was agreement in their party rooms that a bill could go forward. But there was no debate in the party room until there was a bill before the party. So we had this standoff now for about a year, and that's why Bill Shorten and I decided to co-sponsor a bill that would say unequivocally, it's time now. But you know, my interest in this is not having my name on the bill. So yesterday I offered to stand aside, because I think it's much more important that this bill is bipartisan. So what I'd like to see tomorrow is a bill proposed by Bill Shorten and seconded by a member of the Coalition, any one of them who's prepared to do it, because a bipartisan bill will have a much better chance of passing through our federal parliament. We know that there are many Liberals and Nationals who support marriage equality, and I'd love to give them the opportunity of showing that tomorrow. This is a matter that transcends politics. We have people in all of the major political parties and the Greens who support this. David Leyonhjelm proposed his own bill. And so, if we have a Liberal or National co-sponsor of the bill tomorrow, and if there's a free vote granted to people in the Coalition Party room, this can be law before the end of the year. I want to leave you with a Maya Angelou quote. Love recognises no barriers. It jumps hurdles, leaps fences, penetrates walls to arrive at its final destination full of hope. We are full of hope because it's time for marriage equality. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tanya. And can we also acknowledge the great team from Rainbow Labor that are here today as well. Rainbow Labor does awesome work within the Labor Party to progress marriage equality and a number of other LGBTI issues, so a huge thank you for that.